Hi and welcome today to the nervous system regulation and neuromodulator module of Ready to Realign. So today is going to be a really intimate class on 4 neuromodulators. So I have dopamine, we have epinephrine, we have serotonin and acetylcholine. Now, what are these and why are they so important in nervous system regulation? Now, nervous system is regulated inside our brain depending on the synapses, meaning one nerve talks to the other through synapses. Now, at these synapses, certain chemicals are released. Now, certain things like these neuromodulators either increase the effect of the synapse connection between two things or decrease the action between two synapses, or so basically they modulate these different synapses in different parts of the brain. So these neuromodulators can go up and down throughout the day and they can change your mood. Now, exactly what we want to do in nervous system regulation. We want to adapt or change our mood according to the different circumstances of our life. So today we're going to be dealing with 4 of them. So first of all, what do these 4 neuromodulators do? But let us begin from the very beginning. Which is the best neuromodulator? Give me a guess. Leave it down in the comments below. So the best neuromodulator there is sleep. Sleep is your best neuromodulator. That is the one which is going to align and prepare and just stabilize and get all of them going at the right time. If you are sleep deprived and you are forcing yourself to be motivated, if you are sleep deprived and you're forcing yourself to be focused on an activity, if you are sleep deprived and you are trying to feel really happy and calm, you see where I'm going with it? You know this already, that without really good sleep, you are not going to be able to modulate or change your mood or change your motivation or drive or energy or focus. Okay, so that is the first thing which I want to say, that sleep is the best neuromodulator, and that is why we have sleep as a module in Ready to Realign. So having said that, let us move into when is the best time and how do these neuromodulators get released in our body according to your sleep. So the minute you wake up, count that as 0 hours. So from 0 to the first 9 hours after you wake up is the time when dopamine goes up and adrenaline goes up naturally in your body and according to your sleep-wake cycle. After the first 9 hours, 9 to 16 hours, that period is your serotonin wave. Okay, so that is the time when you have more serotonin in your body, and that is exactly how you want to modulate your day and your activities so that you have more dopamine and adrenaline activities in the first 9 hours, and then from 9 to 16 hours you do more activities which need serotonin in your day. And the last is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine can work both with dopamine as well as serotonin and gives you more activities. Now, what do each of these neuromodulators do? The first is dopamine. So dopamine helps you with motivation, drive and pursuit. So it motivates you to do something, gives you the drive to go after your goals. So puts you in that mind of pursuit. Yes, I'm going to get that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to achieve that. So that kind of feeling is what dopamine raises in you. What does epinephrine or adrenaline do? Epinephrine or adrenaline gives you the energy and forward movement. It is an action-oriented neuromodulator. It puts you in action. It keeps you doing better action and making you go forward in the day. Okay, so it's a thing of, if this was drive, this is the energy to move forward. The readiness to take on any challenge is your epinephrine. Now, the next one is your serotonin. Now, serotonin is for contentment, relaxed, soothing, and it puts you in a feeling of having enough. that feeling of having enoughness. Now you see how that is so different from feeling of pursuit and motivation. If you begin your day with that feeling of I'm content and I have enough, and it puts you in a thing of so relax, and if you have too high a serotonin, it can reduce your motivation. You may go into that feeling of kya karna, sab to hai. So you don't want that really in the beginning of the day. So that is why serotonin, which is extremely nice, it's soothing and relaxing, you want at the from 16 to time you go to sleep, after from 9 hours to 16 hours of waking up. So that is serotonin. The next one is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine helps you in your brain. Okay, so acetylcholine is released in the periphery. It helps you to move your body parts, but the acetylcholine in your brain helps you to focus on things, helps you to learn new information, and helps you to change your habits. So it is a neuroplasticity. So it helps you to take on new habits, new information, and new learnings. That is also super important, right? You want to learn new things. Now this can work both when you are in that motivational drive and you are like taking in more information. Yes, this is going to drive me forward. And also in the state of serotonin, when you're relaxed and you're like, okay, I'm going to review what I have learned, and in a relaxed thing, take in, yes, this worked, this didn't work. So acetylcholine can work throughout the day to focus and learn new information. So now let's go into how each of them work. Now dopamine, how can you increase the dopamine in your day? The first thing is sunlight. The minute you get up in the morning, go and get at least 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight, not just for your eyes. Don't just open a window and look out. Yes, that will help with, melatonin, but the best thing is to go out and let the sunlight touch your skin. So the skin acts as an endocrine organ, as a receptor, and your eyes also act as a receptor. And so you want to wear lesser clothes so that more of your skin is in contact with the amazing sunlight in the morning. So yes, if I'm telling you छोटे कपड़े पहन के बाहर जाना है सुबह सुबह, then yes, kind of I'm meaning to say the same thing, that you want to go out in the morning, in the first 3 hours of morning especially, and let a lot of sun fall on your skin, fall on your eyes. You want to go for a walk, do yoga, do your breathing exercises, do your meditation, do it all in the presence of sunlight. The next thing is caffeine. Now caffeine is very interesting, that it increases the D2 and D3 receptors in your brain. So the amount of dopamine which gets raised, that gets to have a much more activity when you have taken caffeine. So caffeine works in that way with dopamine. Okay, so you've taken a little, and it doesn't need too much caffeine. So a little bit of caffeine every single day, little bit of caffeine will help you really absorb, really make the most of the dopamine that has already been released in your brain. The next thing is winning. Now this is super interesting, that whenever you win, your dopamine goes up. And what do I mean by win? It can be small wins, and that is where we have the urge jar in de-addiction, sugar de-addiction, or in emotional overeating. Okay, because when you eating food raises your dopamine, having sugar food raises your dopamine, because and it motivates to go towards more sugar or more food, right? So you want to break that cycle, and that is where we have the urge jar, where we bring that dopamine high through a different kind of win. So if you are getting your dopamine high from different kind of wins, that could be seeing the win on your weighing scale, or seeing the win by putting a coin every time you do not have some sugar item. You go and put like a 1 rupee coin in a jar, and you're like, yes. And the motivation then becomes that I want to raise this jar, I want to increase this jar every day. Or you put a line on your board, and you're like, yes. And so by the end, you become motivated to get as many lines. So that is what an urge jar, so small wins. And so you can hack into this for any kind of task that you want to do or any kind of task that I have asked you to do. That is why we have the habit tracker, right? So the habit tracker, every day that you take, yes, I chewed my food, yes, I did not watch mobile while I was eating, that releases the dopamine in your brain, gives you a small win, and once you win a little, you want to keep winning again and again. So that is how you form this kind of dopamine cycle for yourself in any area of your life. The next thing is cold exposure. This is a pretty interesting and quite extensive. So I'm going to send that in an email to you, how cold exposure can hack and help you with both your epinephrine and your dopamine, as well as your nervous system regulation. Tyrosine rich food. Now, tyrosine rich food is the nutrients which you will take. Tyrosine is a precursor, and tyrosine helps to make dopamine in your brain but also in your body. So by raising the dopamine levels in your body as such, you can raise the homeostatic level of how much dopamine would be there in your brain. So most of the tyrosine rich food which you will have is not going to go and raise the dopamine in your brain. It is going to raise the dopamine levels in your body, the baseline body levels. Food rich in tyrosine can be spinach, cheese, egg, and you can Google as many tyrosine rich foods that are comfortable for your gut and really increase those in your diet. The next thing is taking supplements of L-tyrosine 500 to 1000 milligrams, or PEA, that is 300 to 600 milligrams, if you so wish to increase your dopamine. But I do feel like just sunlight and caffeine and cold exposure and having an urge jar should be enough. Now next we move on to epinephrine. Now epinephrine is very interesting. It helps you to get into an energy state and into an action state. And what releases this epinephrine or adrenaline in your brain? Action. So action releases this adrenaline, and this adrenaline or epinephrine in your brain is exactly what you need to get more energy or more action. So I want to explain to this very simply. In the morning, when you want to go to the gym, you are waiting for the motivation to kick in. You are waiting for the dopamine to kick in. The dopamine release will happen only after you have had a win, after you have gone to the gym. So you cannot wait for it. What do you want to rely on? You want to rely on the epinephrine, the action. And when will that happen? When you've taken an action. That is why people say, start doing something and you will find the energy to keep doing that and find the motivation to keep doing that. Take the first step. That is where it comes from. Take the first step of getting up and washing your face. That will give you enough energy to put your shoes on. That will give you enough energy to go to the gym. Once you go to the gym and start to work out, that is going to raise even more levels of epinephrine in your body. And the dopamine wave comes always after the epinephrine wave. That is true for any kind of exercise, any kind of task, any kind of thing that you do in life, even cold exposure. When you put that cold water or that cold shower on, first of all, it is the action. You have to first put the cold shower on, only then is your adrenaline going to come. The first wave is your adrenaline spike. And after the adrenaline spike, you're going to get the dopamine spike. If you are thinking, first I'm going to wait for that motivation to kick in or the dopamine spike to kick in, then nothing. You're not going to be able to start this cycle at all. If from this talk, this is the only information you take away, then let it be this. You have to first take action and then you're going to get the motivation. First, you have to let the epinephrine kick in, and that will kick in only after you've taken an action. And after that, you're going to release the dopamine, and that is going to release the motivation. Okay. So, super important, take the action. So, how is epinephrine released? It is released by physical activity, moving your arms, shaking, jumping, all of these which are nervous system regulation activities that we have inside of the module, like just shaking yourself or getting yourself pumped up or just, any kind of raising your physical activity is going to take you into the sympathetic drive. And so action, any kind of action, you open your book and start reading is an action, going to release it. Okay. The next thing is caffeine. Again, caffeine here works in a different way. It really increases the epinephrine in your brain and not on the receptors. So the caffeine effect of dopamine is slow and progressive, and over the days you can take little caffeine and it will still raise those D2 D3 receptors. But the release of caffeine, the release of epinephrine on caffeine is dose dependent. The more caffeine you take, the more epinephrine it will release. So it is totally dose dependent. So depending on how much caffeine gives you that feeling of jitteriness and action, and like you just can't stay in one place, so you have to titrate your caffeine according to how much epinephrine you want released. Okay, I hope you understood this. The next is cold exposure. We went into that. The next is cyclical hyperventilation or Wim Hof breathing, and we already have a video on that. I hope you're doing that kind of breathing exercises, and every morning if you do those 3 cycles of deep hyperventilation breathing, it releases epinephrine in your brain, it releases it in your body and puts you in that hyper alert, active and energetic state. So that is why we have Wim Hof breathing as part of the nervous system regulation. Now we move on to acetylcholine. Now acetylcholine, I said, is focus oriented. And again, what releases acetylcholine? Focus releases acetylcholine, and acetylcholine increases your focus. So again, to really release acetylcholine in, you want to concentrate on some studies, or you want to really increase your method of taking in information, then you want to start by doing certain focusing activities. That could be looking at your finger, looking at a flame of candle, looking and really concentrating your energy on something. So where focus goes, energy flows. So you need to first start focusing your energy to let the energy flow towards that focus. So you can do some kind of focusing exercises like meditation, or taking a minute to just concentrating on a single point, and the point has to be at the distance at which you're going to be doing the work. So if you're going to be reading a book, then keep an object at that distance itself. Okay, if you are planning to see something, if you're planning to watch and learn from the television or something over there, something at that distance, then keep a target over there and really focus your energy and focus your eyes on that distance. So that also helps. Focus according to the distance at which you're going to be working. The next is having food which are rich in choline. This is very, very interesting, and something which I do also for my patients because choline has helped with amblyopia therapy in ophthalmology. So foods that are rich in choline are egg, liver, spinach, nuts. You can always go and Google what other foods are rich in choline. I always prefer to ask them to have eggs. The egg yolk has the choline, and you don't want to hard boil the egg yolk. You want it to be soft to be able to extract as much choline from that food. Then what are certain supplements that you can take to increase the acetylcholine in your brain? There is alpha GPC, there is citicoline, there is also nicotine. So these are the two, alpha GPC, citicoline and nicotine. These are certain things that people have taken to increase the acetylcholine in their brain. Certain supplements of these also increase the amount of TMAO in your blood, and this TMAO can increase the risk of heart attacks, and that is why it is preferable to have a lot of garlic. Garlic has shown to reduce this TMAO and chances of risk of heart diseases. And taking garlic supplements is always nice, especially if someone has been past smoker or has taken a lot of nicotine or has been taking a lot of acetylcholine supplements. This is not true for taking just choline or having lots of eggs. The next and the last is serotonin. Now serotonin, first thing is you are going to release serotonin after the 9 hours of the morning when you have really put in the work. Now what releases serotonin? Serotonin is released by a lot of behavioral things like being in human contact with human beings, and petting your pets, hugging, handshakes. Physical contact is one of the first things. Physical contact with other beings, human beings or pets. And the second thing is human interactions, just talking to other human beings, just chatting with other women. And you will already see that once you start to chat, your motivation and drive automatically, goes down, because you go into that feeling of, this is life, this is so beautiful, I'm just so happy just being here. And then chit chatting while you're at the gym, or when you're trying to be in that motivation drive, is not a good thing, because you see that serotonin gets released and you're not in that focused motivational drive. So you want to keep those happy, great bonding kind of moments with your friends in the evening. And this is exactly how we do, right? After work, after we spend a hard day of being totally driven by dopamine, we spend the evenings with our friends. Amazing thing, with our children, with our families, to release serotonin. And serotonin increase is going to give you the best sleep. Increasing your serotonin levels will put you in a calm, relaxed, soothed mood, and which is perfect for going to sleep deeper and faster. The other thing that will release serotonin is gratitude. So this is a beautiful time to do your gratitude journaling. If you are someone who's into gratitude journaling or writing your gratitudes, this is what I would suggest, that don't write your gratitudes in the morning, in your morning ritual or your morning routine. Add your gratitude journaling in your night ritual, in your night routine, in that 1 hour before sleep. And that is the time when you can call your parents and give gratitude to them or speak to them. And when you give gratitude to them, they are going to sleep better, because it's been shown that giving gratitude releases certain amount of serotonin, but the serotonin releases much more when you receive gratitude. So that is beautiful, that when you can give people gratitude, give them a call of, thanking them at night, in the evening, you're going to see that your parents and your friends sleep better. And that is a gift you're giving them, right? So that is something which I want to share, that gratitude is important. The next thing is even seeing gratitude being given and receiving. Just the act, mere observer of someone giving someone gratitude and receiving gratitude will also raise your serotonin levels. So doing a gratitude practice at the dinner table, where you ask each member to give, 3 things they were grateful for that day. And while each of them are sharing their gratitude about anything, is going to raise your serotonin levels. So this is a practice which I would love for you to inculcate in your day for nervous system regulation. With this, we come to the end of this video on the 4 neuromodulators. Such an important, valuable, huge lesson. I hope you've taken a lot of notes and you've written down a lot of your takings. You can always come back to this video on dopamine, epinephrine, acetylcholine, and serotonin. Thank you. I will see you into the next video.